Alright folks, for the last couple of weeks we have been working on solving multi-step equations, and we are ready now to have our test on that. So today you will be reviewing. So let's go back over some things that you will need to know. Why isn't that working? So, solving multi-step equations. Alright, before we do some problems, I want to remind you, when we first started this whole process of solving equations, there were some equation rules that I asked you to learn. And you will need to know those for tomorrow's test. So the first rule that we talked about for solving equations is that I wanted you to draw a line through the equal sign. And you will remember that the reason for that was that I wanted you to see that an equation has two sides. You needed to see that it has two sides because rule 2 is what you do to one side you must do to the other. An equation is balanced, like a balanced scale, and we have to keep it that way. So if we do something on one side, we have to do it on the other to keep it balanced. You will remember that we spend a lot of time when we're solving equations trying to undo or cancel things. So I want you to remember that to undo or cancel something, you do the opposite. So if your equation is adding 5, then you will subtract 5. You'll do the opposite. If your equation is multiplying by 3, you will divide by 3. So to undo or cancel something, you do the opposite. And then the fourth and final rule of solving equations is to remember that the goal is to get x, or whatever the variable is, by itself. So there are your equation rules. And those are things that we have practiced throughout this unit. Now, remember that when we're solving multi-step equations, that there are steps that we have to follow. And by the time we were all finished, we built up to this, but by the time we were all finished, we had a total of 5 steps that we might have to do. And remember, sometimes it's necessary to do all 5, sometimes not. But this is like a checklist for us, and we need to go through this one step at a time. So you will recall that the first step is to distribute. And it's necessary to distribute when there are parentheses in your equation. Step 2 is to combine like terms. On the same side. So those like terms have to be on the same side of the equation. And notice that says combine and not cancel. Step 3 is to cancel the smallest variable. And you'll remember that we add or subtract to do that. And then step 4 is to undo addition or subtraction that we see in the equation. And then step 5 is to undo multiplication or division that we see in our equation. So notice on these first 2 steps there is no canceling, but then step 3, 4, and 5 it's cancel, cancel, cancel. So we want to do the opposite on all 3 of those. Now, to take your test tomorrow, you need to know your equation solving rules, and you need to know the steps for solving a multi-step equation. Your equations tomorrow could be anywhere from 2-step equations all the way up to 5. So keep that in mind and make sure you know those steps. All right, now we are going to do some practice problems, and this will also be your assignment for today. So here's what I want to suggest. I am going to put a problem up on the screen, and when I get the problem up on the screen, then I'm going to give you a little bit of time to pause the video, and I want you to work that problem on your paper. Once you have worked the problem on your paper and you have your answer, then I want you to unpause your video and watch my explanation and see if you get it right. So when the problem goes up, pause, copy it down and do it, and then unpause and watch the explanation and see if you get it right or wrong. Okay, so here's the first problem we're going to do. We're going to do 6x minus 8 minus 6 minus 8x is equal to 4. All right, let me go ahead and draw my line through my equal sign. And now what I would like to do, I'm going to give you some time. I want you to pause this video and work this problem. And then when you're all finished, unpause, and I will explain to you how to do it and show you the correct answer. So pause now and try this problem. Okay, now that you've done it, let's see how you did. All right, step 1 is to distribute if it's necessary. And when I look at this equation, I don't see parentheses anywhere in it, so I do not need to distribute. So step 1 is not necessary. Step 2 is to combine like terms that are on the same side. When I look at this first side of my equation, I do see some like terms, so I'm going to mark those. All right, my 6x can be combined with my negative 8x. And then I see another pair of like terms here because my negative 8 can be combined with my negative 6. So remember that strategy of boxing up your like terms, and now we're going to combine. So I'm going to do 6x minus 8x. 6 minus 8 is a negative 2, so now I have negative 2x. And then I'm also going to do a negative 8 minus 6. And a negative 8 minus 6 is a negative 14. So after you did this step, you should have had negative 2x minus 14 is equal to 4. So that's step 2. Combine like terms that are on the same side. So now I'll think about step 3. Step 3 is to cancel the smallest variable. Well, I see negative 2x on this side, but when I look over here I don't see a variable. So there is no smallest variable. I'm not going to do step 3. I don't need to cancel anything out there. So now I'm on to step 4. Step 4 is to undo addition or subtraction. So when I look at this side of my equation, I see a negative 2x minus 14. I see subtracting 14. So to undo that, I will do the opposite and add 14. And remember, I will do that to both sides. These will cancel each other out, and I'll get negative 2x is equal to 4 plus 14, which is 18. All right, now I'm one step away. I need to undo multiplying or dividing. So I see on this side that x is being multiplied by negative 2. So I'm going to do the opposite and divide by negative 2. The negative 2's will cancel each other out, and we will have x by itself equal to 18 divided by negative 2, which is a negative 9. So for this problem, you were supposed to get x equal to a negative 9. All right, let's try another one. All right, so here's the next problem I want you to do. All right, on this problem, we are going to do a negative 7 times x plus 7 is equal to a negative 56. All right, I'm going to draw my line through my equal sign. And now I want you to pause the video and copy this problem down and give it a try. I'm going to give you a few seconds to unpause or to pause your video and try this. All right, now that you've tried number 2, let's see how this goes. See how you did. Step 1 is to distribute if it's necessary. And I see these parentheses, so I know I need to distribute. So first, I'm going to do a negative 7 times x. That gives me a negative 7x. I'm also going to do negative 7 times positive 7. That is a negative 49. So I get negative 7x minus 49 is equal to a negative 56. I have now completed step 1. I have distributed. All right, for step 2, I want to see if I can combine like terms that are on the same side. Side 1 doesn't have any like terms, so I don't need to do it there. Side 2 also doesn't have any like terms, so step 2 is not necessary. I cannot combine like terms that are on the same side. So now I look at step 3. Cancel the smallest variable. Side 1 has negative 7x as its variable. Side 2 doesn't have a variable. So I also do not need to do step 3. I can't cancel the smallest variable because I only have 1. So I'm at step 4, undo adding or subtracting. When I look at my equation, I see subtracting 49. So to undo that, I will add 49. And I will make sure that I do that to both sides. All right, so now I'm going to have a negative 7x, and that's equal to negative 56 plus 49, which is a negative 7. All right, now that step 4 is complete, now I go to step 5, undo multiplying or dividing. When I look at my equation, I see that x is being multiplied by a negative 7. So I'm going to divide each side by negative 7. And I get x equals negative 7 divided by negative 7, which is 1. So x equals 1 is what you should have gotten when you worked number 2. All right, here comes problem 3. All right, for problem 3, we are going to solve 7 minus 6x is equal to negative 5 minus 8x. Once again, I will draw my line through my equal sign, not very straight. And now I'll give you a moment to pause the video and give this problem a try before you watch the explanation. Okay, on this problem, step 1, distribute if necessary. And when I look at my problem, I see no parentheses, so I do not need to distribute. So I will skip step 1 and move straight to step 2. Step 2 is to combine like terms that are on the same side. So when I look at side 1, I don't see any like terms there. When I look at side 2, same thing, no like terms there. So I also do not need to do step 2. Step 3 is to cancel the smallest variable. So I have negative 6x on side 1, and I have negative 8x on side 2. So I do need to cancel the smallest variable. I don't want two of them here. So which is smaller, a negative 6 or a negative 8? The answer is this negative 8. So to cancel him out, we will do the opposite and add 8x. So we're going to add 8x on both sides of this equation. Minus 8x and plus 8x will cancel each other out. So here's what we have. We have our 7, and then negative 6x plus 8x is a positive 2x, and that is equal to a negative 5. So step 3 is complete. All right, for step 4, we will undo adding or subtracting. When I look at this side of my problem, I see this positive 7, so I see adding 7. So to undo that, I will subtract 7 on each side. So now we have 2x is equal to negative 5 minus 7, which is a negative 12. All right, now undo multiplying or dividing. I see multiplying by 2 right here, so I'm going to divide each side by 2. And when you finish this one up, you should have gotten x equal to a negative 6. All right, hopefully you all are doing well. But I want you to notice how on each problem I'm going through all 5 of those steps. I'm checking for all 5 of those things. All right, here comes our next problem. On our next problem, we are going to do four times 4x minus 3 minus, in parentheses, x minus 5, and that's equal to a negative 52. So I'm going to draw my line through my equal sign. And then I also on this one want to give you a quick little reminder before you get started. You clearly on this one are going to have to distribute because you have parentheses here, which you're going to distribute the 4, and then you have parentheses here. Now notice that in front of these parentheses, all you see is that minus sign. Please don't forget that that means there's a negative 1 here. So you may want to write that 1 in before you solve this problem. I'm going to pause here for a second, give you time to pause the video and try this problem. Okay, so on this problem, step 1, do we need to distribute? The answer is yes. So we will do 4 times 4x, 16x, and 4 times negative 3, negative 12. Now we'll distribute our negative 1, so negative 1 times x gives us negative 1x, and negative 1 times negative 5 gives us positive 5. All of that is equal to a negative 52. So step 1, distribute, is done. Step 2, we are checking for like terms that we can combine that are on the same side. So right now I'm looking just at this side 1. I see over here that I could combine 16x and negative 1x. And also, I can combine this negative 12 with this positive 5. Side 2 doesn't have any like terms because it only has 1. All right, so let's combine these. 16x minus 1x gives me 15x. And then negative 12 plus 5 gives me negative 7. So I get 15x minus 7 is equal to a negative 52. All right, so now I'm up to step 3, where I need to cancel the smallest variable. I have 15x on this side, and then I don't have an x over here, so I do not need to do that step 3. There's no need for it. So moving on to step 4, undo adding or subtracting. I see subtracting 7, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides, which will give me 15x is equal to negative 52 plus 7, which is a negative 45. And then the fifth and final step, undo multiplying or dividing. I see that x is being multiplied by 15, so I will divide each side by 15. So I get x equals negative 45 divided by 15, which is a negative 3. So you'll notice the further we go into this, the more steps, the more of those steps you're having to do. All right, just a few more problems here to practice for your test. All right, on this next one, we're going to do 9 times x minus 4 minus 7x is equal to 32 minus 2 times x plus 8. Draw your line. Now you pause the video and try this problem. All right, for step 1, we are going to distribute. So we're going to do 9 times x, which will give us 9x. We're going to do 9 times negative 4, which will give us negative 36. Then we have our minus 7x that's just going to move down. On the other side, we have our 32. And then again, we're going to distribute negative 2 times x, negative 2x, and negative 2 times 8, negative 16. So there's what your equation should look like after you complete step 1. For step 2, we're going to look at each side to see if there are like terms we can combine. On side 1, I know I can combine 9x with negative 7x. So let's go ahead and do that. 9x minus 7x makes that 2x, and then I have my minus 36. All right, now I'm going to give the other side a look to see if I can combine like terms over there, and I see that I can because I have my 32 and my negative 16 that I can combine. 32 minus 16 is 16, and then I have my minus 2x that will just move down. So here's what we should look like after step 2 when we have combined the like terms. All right, now we are going to do step 3 and cancel our smallest variable. We have 2x on one side, we have negative 2x on the other. Negative 2x is the smallest, so to cancel him out, we will do the opposite and add 2x to both sides. Notice these two will cancel because they're opposites. These two will not. You're doing 2x plus 2x. That'll be 4x minus 36 is equal to 16. All right, now we're down to those last two steps. So on step 4, undo, add, or subtract. We see subtracting 36, so we will add 36 on both sides. So we get 4x is equal to 16 plus 36, which is 52. And then the last step, undo, multiply, or divide, we see that x is being multiplied by 4. So we divide each side by 4. And we get that x is equal to 13. Now, all 5 of these equations that you've done so far have been regular equations. You have the variable by itself equal to a number. I want you to remember, and these last 2 problems we're going to do are going to help us remember, that there are 2 special cases. And remember that in special cases you can either have no solution, or you can have infinite solutions. All right, so here is our 6th problem. Do for me 5 times x plus 6 minus 2x is equal to 3 times x plus 10. Now, this equation will be a special case, so it'll either be no solution or infinite. Pause the video, please, and try to work this one on your own. All right, so beginning at step 1, do I need to distribute? And the answer is yes, so I do 5 times x, which will give me 5x. I do 5 times positive 6, which will give me a positive 30. I bring down that minus 2x, and then on side 2, I do 3 times x, 3x, and 3 times positive 10, positive 30. So step 1 is done. Now I'm looking at side 1 to see if there are like terms, and I do see them. I can do 5x and negative 2x together on that side. 5x minus 2x gives me 3x plus 30. There are no like terms on side 2, so I just bring down 3x plus 30. Now, we're up to that step 3 where we cancel the smallest variable, and here is where we recognize that we have a special case because our variables are the same. I can either cancel 3x on this side or cancel 3x on this side. So either way I go, I'm going to be canceling a 3x, which means I'm going to cancel them both. So to cancel 3x, we subtract 3x. We're going to do that on both sides. So 3x minus 3x cancels on this side. 3x minus 3x cancels on this side. So I have 30 equal to 30. Now, I can't go any further on this equation. I can't undo adding or subtracting because there is none. And I can't undo multiplying or dividing because there is none. I just have 30 equals 30. 30 equals 30 is true. So on this problem, it would be infinite. So notice and remember what made this special. What made this problem special is the fact that we had these variables, 3x and 3x, that were the same. So when we cancel the smallest, we cancel both of them. So that's what makes that special. All right, and with that said, we have one last problem to do, and then you should be all set. So for this one, we're going to do a negative 6 times x minus 4 plus 8x is equal to 2 times x plus 9. Line through the equal sign, pause the video, and give this one a try. All right, so first we're going to distribute. Negative 6 times x gives us negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 4 gives us a positive 24. And then we have our plus 8x that will just move down. We're also going to distribute over here. 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 9 is 18. All right, time to combine the like terms. So on this side, I see that I have negative 6x and positive 8x that I can put together. Negative 6 plus 8 makes that 2x plus 24. Side 2 doesn't have any like terms. He's just going to be 2x plus 18. Now notice again here how we've got the same variable on both sides. We have 2x on both sides. So when I cancel the smallest, my only choice is to cancel a 2x. So I'm going to cancel them both. So I'm going to subtract 2x on each side. Cancels. Cancels. And so that leaves me with 24 is equal to 18. Now again, at this point I'm done, because I can't undo adding or subtracting, because there is none. I can't undo multiplying or dividing, because there is none. And I have this statement that 24 and 18 are equal to each other, which is not true. So when I see those two numbers are not equal, I have to say, no, that's not going to work. So this one is no solution. So these 7 problems should give you a pretty good idea of what tomorrow's test is going to look like. I would suggest that you take a little bit of time today to look over the equation rules and the equation steps and make sure that you know those. And then I would also look over these 7 problems to make sure I understand how they work. Test will be tomorrow. If you do have questions, please email me with those, and I will be happy to help you take care of it. Good luck on tomorrow's test.